Lock in all sports, all plays, all 5% best bets from now until Super Bowl 57 on February 12th, 2023 from your favorite WagerTalk handicapper for only $1,199 versus a regular price of $1,999 for one total savings of $800. This limited time super discount comes out to less than $100 per month and only $3.28 per day. As an added bonus, your all access starts immediately, so the sooner you buy before Super Bowl 56, the more additional days you will get for free. Just go to WagerTalk.com, choose your favorite handicapper to lock in, and don't forget there is no limit to the amount of handicappers you can redeem our Super Bowl to Super Bowl offer on.
Welcome, everybody, to Wager Talk Today. It's Friday, February 4th, my last show for a week. Teddy's happy. I know we've been through it. That guy's Teddy Covers. We got Rob Veno, Matt Joseph, Andy Lang joining us. Rob's going to talk Cleveland, Charlotte, Boston, Detroit, both NBA games, in case Teddy didn't know what sport we were talking about. Matt Joseph, he's going to look at a prop bet for the Super Bowl now that they're out. Purdue, Fort Wayne, and Andy Lang, a whole bunch of prop bets. Teddy Covers, how are you today, my friend? What did I do wrong already? It's your face. Oh, like, no wonder you're such a shit poker player.
What? Cause I give it all. What? So when I'm playing poker, the funny thing is I'm absolutely stoic. You know, I'm like this the whole time. You know,
I've played with you.
Yeah. It just is, so it's when you're talking and I can't talk that I have to use my facial expression to indicate my amusement or disgust with whatever it is that you're saying.
Okay. Brian Silverstein logs on. Prez, did you go 3-0 on the presidential address that you didn't give out yesterday? Well said, Brian. I completely accept that, but I went 4-0.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That, I mean, you cannot. That's just a perfect statement. Teddy, what did you learn last night in the world of sports betting?
So I went down to the Westgate Superbook last night for the openers at the Westgate for the props, and obviously the sheet, this thick. They didn't have hard copies of it last night. I'll have to take them home. I got a PDF file this morning, but it's 40-something pages deep. And first of all, I want to say Spencer, who watches the show, came down and said hi, like we asked. Nice to meet you.
Nice.
It was, how do we describe it? Relatively quiet compared to previous. All right, I've been there where the line's 100 deep and going out the door. And last night there was, 20 or 30 guys that were going back and through. And you're allowed to make two bets. You have to go back to the back of the line from the openers. $2,000 limits. So they're confident in their numbers right from the get-go. But, maybe about 20 guys pounding through the lines and talking to people around it. What were the bettors looking at down at the West? It was probably more than 20. I mean, guys coming in and out throughout the night, but the line was never longer than 20, 25 people when I was there. And I was there for about 7 to 9:30. But the majority of the bets that were getting pounded were middles. Books that where the market had been established at other books, and the Westgate put up their numbers, and bettors were just trying to take advantage of the difference between the numbers at the open, because obviously, as we head towards kickoff of the Super Bowl, the books, the numbers tend to move in conjunction with one another. So there were some unique numbers last night at the Westgate. I'll talk about one of them, big game breakdown later in the show, but always fun down there for the prop opener. A little disappointed at the crowd, but nonetheless, Westgate wrote plenty of business on the props last night. The markets did move a fair bit on a handful of numbers.
Yeah, Teddy, it's a funny story I forgot to mention about the Kansas City-Cincinnati NFL game. I took Tyreek Hill over 78.5 yards. He was at 78 at halftime. I lost.
Yeah. The hook?
Kansas City wants to know why they aren't in the Super Bowl. You go out and dominate Cincinnati. Tyreek puts up 78 yards and you come out and he doesn't get another catch the rest of the game. Really not that much rocket science. Teddy, we were talking earlier and I was saying to you, you were like, what kind of shit timing is your ski trip? Blah, 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 blah. And I was saying, you know, Vivian and I are pretty bummed too because we're going to miss the Olympics. And then you gave me one of your.
Yeah, the Olympics are not like you don't miss the Olympics. You're like, okay, if it's on TV when you happen to walk in the room, you're like, all right, yeah, I'll watch the biathlon for 5 minutes.
Yeah, no.
But
I am
like sitting down and
hardcore
watching the Olympics in my world.
Dude, I watched the Olympics 24/7. I love it. And I want to tell you why quickly. I am a sportsman. I love sports. I grew up playing sports. I got into this industry because of sports. Sports have been the most important thing in my life since I was born. And gambling ruined it. Now I love gambling and I like making money betting on sports, but I have no purity in sport anymore. Even when I watch the Leafs. Yeah, even when I watch the Leafs, I'm like, why didn't I take the over? Why didn't I take the Leafs? Why didn't I? What the hell? Why didn't this guy? Everything I do is about sports betting. And then the Olympics come and it's like taking a condom off. Is that a decent analogy?
I have no idea where you're going.
It is pure. It is pleasurable. It is dramatic. It is exciting. It's just finally I can get back to why I fell in love with sports in the first place. Rob Veno joining us. Rob, anything to add about that?
About taking a condom off. I don't know where the drama lies in that, but
no, that part didn't work. That part didn't work.
What Prez really likes is the 6 hours of human interest stories in between the 7 seconds of matches that you're going to watch. That's the best.
Sure, I do. I like that too, Teddy.
Sport. One heartwarming story after another. It makes me want to barf, dude. No way. No.
Who uses the word barf?
There's no sports like
it's
in terms of like the Olympics being sport. The Olympic TV coverage is not sport. It's 6,000 human interest stories mixed in with 10 seconds of little clips of guys, doing whatever it is they do, guys and gals.
Yeah.
Let's talk Super Bowl. Let's talk NBA. Let's not talk Olympics ever again, please.
Rob, you going to be watching the Olympics?
Sir. I actually tried overnight, but then, I can't, throwing rocks with a broom and sweeping. I do enough sweeping in my own house to watch that type of stuff. If the event gets more interesting, I would say this, Prez, if it's luge, I kind of like luge. People are wacko skeleton. To do that. Or skeleton.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I like a select few events, but curling I just can't get into.
Actually, you know what, Rob? If you watched it with me, you would find a little love for it. I'm not a big
look at that sweeper. Look at him sweep. Oh my God.
Guys,
we'd be laying 1.5 rocks.
Curling is from the same family as billiards and darts and shuffleboard and lawn bowls and bocce. These are some of the biggest bloody sports on the planet. You guys suck. Rob, Cleveland, Charlotte, let's go. NBA. You want to talk about NBA? Because NBA is so great. Cleveland, Charlotte -4.5. Which ref is going to make up a foul at what time that will create this game to go one way or the other, Rob?
Boy, if we knew that, Prez, the three of us right here, we'd be in real good shape if we knew which one and at what time. Wow, I got to get back to my train of thought here. We're going to fade the Cavs for a few reasons here. Most importantly, it's the absence of their now all-star guard, Darius Garland, who was elected to the all-star team. His injury, anybody who follows the NBA knows is depleted that entire backcourt. Monday, they had a makeshift backcourt of Chetty Osman at the point, Isaac Okoro at shooting guard. That didn't work well enough, even though they won the game. So they went to a G League call-up. Brandon Goodwin at point guard with Chetty Osman at shooting guard the other night. Goodwin, 32 and a half minutes, 7 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds. Not bad for a G League guy, but not Darius Garland. That backcourt was outscored 37-20 by the Rockets. Tonight, there's a significant advantage in that starting backcourt. Terry Rozier and LaMelo Ball against what the Cavs are putting out there. It makes life difficult. On top of that, the injury to Lauri Markkanen takes away the uniqueness of the Cavs defense, which is sitting 3 7-footers inside so that you can't get near the rim. 2 of 3 is okay, but boy, all 3 made them unique. So their current roster just isn't good enough at this point in time. It's not what it was to start the season. And Teddy, I'm going to get to a point that you made. We did a show together on Wednesday where you quoted JB Bickerstaff and how his team needs to win ball games. That was prior to the Houston game. We got to play strong defense. We have to slow down tempo. We have to muck it up. We're capable of doing that. They come out and give up 115 to the Rockets, a high-tempo team, which doesn't sit well when you play Charlotte tonight, another high-tempo team. Cleveland, in fact, in that game against Houston, they outshot the Rockets. They out-rebounded the Rockets, and they still found a way to lose by 11 in that contest. They couldn't keep up with the scoring, and they really couldn't control the tempo. I don't know if they can do it here in this particular game. These two teams have played twice already this season. If you go back and look at those results, you find that Markkanen, Rubio, Sexton scored 61, almost 50% of the 123 in the first game. The second time, Markkanen, Rubio, Sexton, Garland, 59 of 110, almost 50% again. None of those guys involved in this game tonight. My power ratings show that Charlotte should have been 5.5. And I don't know, Teddy, if I downgraded Cleveland enough because of the lack of backcourt right now. May get Gordon Hayward back tonight. Give me Charlotte minus 5.5. Or 4.5, excuse me.
Yeah, and we're seeing a couple of 5s starting to pop up. So if you do like Charlotte, I would get there sooner rather than later. Rob, this is just a basic philosophy question for the NBA. Because Charlotte's a team that wants to outscore their opponents. They are not a good defensive team. Right now, Cleveland's only answer is playing defense, and mucking it up, which they didn't do well against the Rockets last time out, which is something that they've done fairly well throughout the course of the season. Are you comfortable laying points with bad defensive teams against good defensive teams, even though the good defensive teams are injury-riddled in the backcourt?
Yeah, situational, I guess, Teddy, because I could never give a blanket statement to that. Each one would be treated differently. I would say this, where Charlotte is only significant, and not significantly, they're slightly better defensively than Houston. But it concerns me that Cleveland was able to shoot better than 50% from the floor, able to out-rebound Houston by double digits, and still lose a game by double digits. That just doesn't sit well. I think they've got problems. The mixing and matching of the backcourt. We'll see what Goodwin provides. But again, he's a G League guy on a 2-way contract. So I thought the price was fair here, minus 4.5. And as you said, I would recommend, if you like Charlotte, go get him now.
Rob Veno joining us, everyone. Rob, awesome work. You got a bet for us on the Boston Celtics Detroit game. You have paper in your house? What?
I do.
What's
you can see I'm one of those old-time guys who still writes my notes. I don't use a computer. I got pages and pages of notes.
Like with a pen in your hand?
Pen to paper, buddy. I remember it better that way.
So here's my question in regards to pen to paper. Do you print every letter, or are you want to can you link them all together in that handwriting you're taught in grade 4?
No, I print every letter, but it gets sloppier as I go on. It's hard. It's like hieroglyphics sometimes.
Teddy, you a cursive writer or no?
No.
Yeah, I can't do it. I can't do it at all. I the
Why
F.
would
I can't. I can't even remember what that F looked like. Like what? How did the F go? The F was a tricky one.
How did we spend so? Because that was like a big stress thing for like fourth grade or something.
Yeah.
And why?
Yeah, why? You know the craziest thing is, I took typing
Celtics
in grade
Pistons.
7. Shut up! I took typing in grade 7. I was the last class where they taught typing at school. Typing has never been more important. Like, why the hell did I learn to type? Now the kids live on computers and they don't have typing in school. Don't understand. Detroit, Boston. Rob, mic's yours.
Yeah. Quick check of the clock tells me I better hurry. Boston at Detroit. I'm going to play it first half, guys. Boston minus 4.5 here. This one's kind of simple, Teddy. This one, again, I wouldn't blanket statement, but I think it fits the situation here. We got a red-hot rested Celtics team against a lower echelon, back-to-back Detroit Pistons team. Injuries could play a role here, right? Cade Cunningham for the Pistons doesn't go last night. May not go again with this hip pointer. I'm not sure. And I also question the availability. These NBA injury reports, we know how they go. Got to wait till an hour before tip-off. But I wonder if Jeremy Grant, who missed 24 games and would now be in his third in 4 nights, if Jeremy Grant doesn't get a little bit of rest here tonight, and Kelly Olynyk, who missed 9 of the previous 12, he too on 3rd and 4 nights. I'm not sure Detroit will have all their horses here in the back-to-back game. Boston, first half speaking here, they're 4-1 against the spread in their last 5, correlates to this hot streak. Those 4 wins are by 9 over Miami, 18 over New Orleans, 33 over Sacramento in 1 half, and 15 over Washington. Here we're only asked to lay 4.5. I think that's pretty good. Detroit 6-13 first half in their last 19 games. Put up some big numbers their last 2, though. I have to give them credit, 65 and 67 in their last 2 first halves. But it's a huge step up in defensive class here from Minnesota and New Orleans. Boston ranked number 4 in the NBA in defensive efficiency. For the Celtics, I know we're betting first half here, but I think they'll come out quick. They need wins. 53 games in. They're in a dogfight to get into the playoffs without having to be in that play-in game. I think they're currently 9th. So they need to make up a little ground here. And I look for a bounce back from Brown and Tatum. They won the other night without Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown even getting to 20 points. That offense, where the ball was sticking in those 2 guys' hands for so long, has become far more cohesive. They're 51% or better from the field in their last 3 games. I think all the edges go to Boston here, especially for the first half of this game. So I'll lay 4.5.
So here's my question for you, Rob, because in general, the thought process of many bettors that I talk to when it comes to NBA back-to-backs for a team like Detroit is that they may bring energy, but at some point they're going to run out of gas. And you want to bet against them full game as opposed to first half. Talk about that strategy here where you're looking at a first half bet because of the way Boston's playing, but given the nuances and the nature of back-to-backs, sometimes the second half is where the team falls apart. Talk about that.
Very true. Very true. Sometimes the wear down occurs in the second half. A lot of times the wear down occurs in the second half. Where Detroit is concerned, I would say this. This is such a erratic shooting basketball team that shot well last night. As I mentioned, 67 points in the first half, 65 in the fourth. I just can't count on them, Teddy, to shoot that well first half. And it's it's situational. I don't care if I play against Detroit first half because of that. I think the shooting comes back to the norm, which is not good. It's bottom 3rd, bottom 4th of the NBA field goal percentage. So I think Boston proving it the way they've defeated the 4 teams they've defeated in the first half in that 4-1 outburst. I think Boston's a pretty good side here.
Rob Veno. Rob, outstanding stuff, man. Can't thank you enough for joining us. Anything to promote?
Yeah, we can promote NBA. It's up and available right now at WagerTalk.com. We'll have college hoop up in a little bit. College hoop's been pretty successful here. And I don't know, Prez, maybe a little something on the Senior Bowl tomorrow. That would be as interesting as more interesting than the curling, I guess.
Okay, well, not from my perspective. Who cares about the Senior Bowl? Rob Veno, everyone. Teddy, I watched a hell of a movie last night, dude. It's called The Tinder Swindler. It's on Netflix. It's about this guy who swindles these women for, millions and millions when you combine all the women together. And he basically used one woman's money to take the other woman on vacation and then did it in this multi-tiered pyramid program. Great movie. Highly recommended. I know you won't be watching it, but for everyone else, it was freaking awesome. Teddy will be watching the curling instead. Guys, we're going to take a quick break. Teddy's Big Game Breakdown coming up. We got Matt Joseph and Andy Lang still as well. Stay with us, everyone.
Fan of Super Bowl props, but not in Las Vegas for the big game? Hosting a Super Bowl party and want to keep everyone entertained? WagerTalk has you covered with our Super Bowl party prop sheet. The concept is simple and is easy for anyone to participate and follow. First, download and print out our Super Bowl 56 party prop sheet. Pass out to everyone at your Super Bowl party and determine the entry fee, if any, and payouts. All they have to do is circle their choices for each prop. And since almost all of them are 50-50, it does not require someone to be a huge football fan or understand sports betting to participate. To get your free Super Bowl party prop sheet, just go to wt.buzz/props and follow us on Twitter at WagerTalk the day of the big game to get results in real time.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. And yeah, let's get into some Super Bowl prop talk. I'm going to talk right here about the total number of Bengals with a rushing attempt. That's kind of a boring prop, right? Yeah, you guys do all your, this guy over and that guy under. This is where the sharp money is going, and I'm going to tell you why. All right. There are two numbers out there. The Westgate last night, total number of Bengals with a rushing attempt, hung a 3.5. Other books hung a 4. What does that create? That creates opportunity. The right number here, in theory, is going to be 4. You have Joe Mixon's going to get carries. Joe Burrow's going to get carries. Remember, taking a knee counts as a rushing attempt, and it doesn't need to be with a W. It could be at the end of the first half, but Burrow gets carries almost every week. You have 2 running backs, and Chris Evans, other running backs, and Chris Evans and Samaje Perine combined 3 carries in 3 games in the playoffs. Evans has no rushes, no receptions in KC last week. And Perine, no rushes the last 2 weeks, only 2 attempts the last 5 games compared to 9 targets. Maybe one of those guys gets a carry, maybe they doesn't. From the wide receiver standpoint for Cincy, Jamar Chase, 5 carries in the postseason. Tyler Boyd, 1. But there was only 2 from Boyd all regular season. His playoff carry didn't work. I'm not expecting one here. Put all this together, and it's likely that Cincinnati is going to have 4 players with a rushing attempt. So what do? You pound the under 4 because they're not going to get 5, and you pound the over 3.5. And now there's juice on both of those wagers. But we talk about every half point matters. Well, every half a Bengal with a rushing attempt matters as well. Over 3.5, good bet. Under 4, good bet. There's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Oh, excellent breakdown, Teddy Covers. Let's ask Matt Joseph if he agrees with that prop bet. Matt Joseph joining us, everyone. Matt, under 4, over 3.5. But let's not look at it from that perspective. Let's just look at it from 4 or under. You with Teddy?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, logically, Mixon's going to get carries and Burrow's going to get carries. The question is, Samaje Perine, I don't know necessarily if he is, because there's some games they don't really use him that much, in which case maybe they would use Evans instead, but still, one of them might get carries. And, of course, the running back, I mean, Jamar Chase is the type of guy you want to get involved, and you're going to need the misdirection against this Rams defense. So, yeah, I could see 4 Bengals potentially carrying the ball. I don't see 5, that's for darn sure.
Yeah,
Which is why the under 4 is so strong.
I agree. I love it.
And the over 3.5 is so, it's one of those deals where that half a carry matters. It's worth 200 cents juice, 250, 300. I mean, it's a huge difference between 3.5 and 4 for number of Bengals with a rushing attempt.
Guys, you're watching WagerTalk Today, the world's greatest sports betting daily show on the planet and entertaining as shit because of Teddy. Teddy, you are so entertaining. Matt, longest field goal. You got a prop bet for us on that. Talk to us.
Yeah, I mean, so I could go and do this long dissertation, but quite simply, Evan
Please
McPherson has
don't.
12 field goals over 50 yards, and Matt Gay last game came up short on a 50-something yard field goal.
Yeah.
There's some question as to whether or not he's injured. He came up short on a 40-ish yard field goal in Tampa Bay 2 weeks ago. So to me, I think the Bengals, there is some value there. Now, of course, you want to make sure to shop around. You don't want to lay too much juice because it is somewhat of an arbitrary prop here, but I'm playing a hunch. I think McPherson kicks a 60-yard field goal in this game. So I'm looking also at like the longest field goal yardage over. But I think McPherson's a star in this league, and I think he's going to kick himself a nice long field goal. Matt Gay is just not going to match. And so there you go, right there. McPherson kicks a 50-something yard field goal. I don't think Matt Gay is going to do the same. Plus, Rams defense better than Bengals defense. They will hold them, and the coach obviously has more confidence in McPherson. So give me the Bengals to have the longest field goal in the Super Bowl in this game.
Now, let me ask you about the grading of this prop. If you know, what happens if one team doesn't kick a field goal?
Well, then the other team wins. If neither of them kick a field goal, then
if neither of them kick a field goal, yeah. He said, I was waiting for. I thought he was going to finish. If neither of them kick a field goal, it's a push. But if for whatever reason, and Cincy, I think would be of the two teams more likely to kick a field goal, simply because McPherson does have that range. But it's one of those scenarios where if one team doesn't kick one, if Cincy doesn't kick one, you're going to lose that before it happens. And they have to make it, right? Not just kick it. It's the longest field goal made, correct?
Correct. And also, obviously, I mean, in theory, that prop gets graded, let's say, 45 yards to nothing. Because if the Rams don't kick a field goal, then there's no yardage, and it's an easy win. So then a 27-yard field goal can win if you're Cincinnati. Yeah. But I just think McPherson's a star, and they're going to have him kick one. I'm marking it now. 60 yards, I think he's going to make one from on Sunday, next Sunday.
Matt Joseph, everyone. You can find him at Sports Memo. Guys, listen, I'm addicted to TikTok. I admit it flat out. I was watching yesterday on TikTok. This guy was quizzing Sean McVay. I don't know if you've ever seen this. It was, if it's real, it was ridiculous. The guy was saying to Sean McVay, Sean was on the Washington coaching staff like 5 years ago. He was like, 5 years ago, you're playing Atlanta. There's 3 minutes on the clock. It's second down. You have 7 yards to go. What was the play? He knew the play. And they asked him this, and he was like, a wheel route to Perrine, touchdown. I mean, it was like, what? How do you remember this stuff? Anyway, it was insane. Matt, you got a prop bet for us on Purdue Fort Wayne? Talk to me.
So this is a play against Milwaukee, who does not play a lot of defense. Milwaukee got the headlines in the offseason because Patrick Baldwin Jr. went to go play for his father. He's a 5-star recruit, and of course, he hasn't really played that much, and he hasn't really done that much for this team. He's only played 8 games so far this season. But you look at the last 5 games that this team has played in conference, they've allowed 86, 77, 86, 85, and 80. And that's against some of the lower teams, too, including Robert Morris and Youngstown State, who don't have the offensive firepower of Purdue Fort Wayne. Damian Chong-Kee, who is a big-time transfer that people got to know last year because of what he did in the Northeast Conference tournament. He leads this team. Pace could be a bit of an issue, but it is a lower number here. I think the team total over for Purdue Fort Wayne comes into play. I think their offense is good enough. They're putting up some solid numbers in conference play. And remember, when you're looking at your KenPom numbers, the overall numbers are nice, but you have to now click on the conference-only thing because it's more of a better representation of this team. They're third in 2-point percentage, fourth in 3-point percentage, and second free throw percentage, because this game could be a little bit close, so free throws could come into play, but I think Purdue Fort Wayne's team total over is the play to go here.
Great stuff, Matt. 2 quick questions. One, you have a Bengals flag behind you. That's new. Is it suggesting anything?
I mean, they're in the Super Bowl. I was one of the biggest Jeff Blake fans of all time, and it's signed by Jeff Blake and Carl Pickens, so I figured it was a good time to bring it out right now.
And the second follow-up question to that is, I see some kind of like Christmas tree lights behind you. is that something you actually turn on at any time? And if so, what would be the time that you would turn them on?
When I'm feeling particularly festive, maybe during Prop It Up, which comes on after this show. Maybe the lights will be on then.
Okay.
Jeff Blake
just-
and Carl Pickens won me a fantasy title. It had to be 95. Love those guys forever, because that was one of those where you're still playing with your buddies and it's all trash talking. And I thoroughly enjoyed that duo for at least one season. So kudos. Like your Cincy stuff in the background.
Yeah. There you go. Matt Joseph, everyone. What do you got to promote, Matt?
Super Bowl props package is up. Right now there's only 3, but we're still adding more as they come up. So if you want to get them as they get released, you go over to sportsmemo.com and get my Super Bowl props package.
Excellent stuff, Matt Joseph, everyone. Andy Lang still to come. Teddy, this has been an outstanding show. You know, I've felt like I annoyed you right off the top, and it's just gotten better and better ever since.
It's what you do.
Yes, you're gonna miss me next week.
Prez, there's something to be said for the entertainment value that you bring to the show. This is not a boring show, and I appreciate that, and I'm willing to put up with your crap because of it. Because what else are we gonna do? It's not a dry show, and I am assuming that our listening audience and viewing audience appreciates that.
Well, most do. I mean, listen, I get a fair amount of hate, Teddy. I mean, I get more hate than anybody else, but I'm a polarizing guy, right? Like, yeah. I mean, I always remind myself, man, it's only the greats that get hated, like Howard Stern, Rush Limbaugh. Like, you gotta be on the Mount Rushmore of media to have the hate. And thank you. I feel I've been nominated, so much appreciated, everyone. Andy Lang rolling his eyes. Where'd the nose ring go?
Don't have a nose ring. Never had a nose ring.
Oh, it was an eyelash ring. It was here, right?
Never had one of those. But I did go on spring break with a buddy of mine that got his eyebrow pierced, and when we came back, he walked into his house and his mom promptly walked out with his bag and threw it in the driveway and wouldn't let him walk back into the house until he went and got it taken out. A moment I'll never forget.
Okay. I don't know why I thought you had piercings, but what the hell do I know? Welcome to the show, man. I watch you and your buddy every day on Twitter. What is up with that show?
We just do a free pick every day. These days, it's mostly NBA. We've got golf going on, but we just recap how our night went the night before. And then we just give out a free pick for everybody and talk about sports. So it's just 2 minutes, 20 seconds. That's what Twitter allows. So we do it every day. Love it. And we're going to record it right after this.
Okay, well, let's start. You got some prop bets for us. We'll go one at a time. We have time, Andy. You can breathe. There's no daily presidential address. Matthew Stafford. Plus we're not putting Trigger and Veno on together anymore. Like, they're both going to come on. They're incredible. We just can't have them on the same show. Although we should do a Marco Veno Trigger one day, and Teddy and I just take the day off. Matthew Stafford, bro.
All right, let's take an over, but it's an odd one. I'm going to take him over 5.5 yards rushing. So in the regular season, he went over this rushing total in only 4 out of 17 games. But in the playoffs, he's gone over in all 3. Why? In the regular season, you're not taking any risks. You're going to throw the ball away. You're going to live to fight another down, fight another game. If there's pressure, you're going to maybe take a sack, but this is the playoffs. Instead of throwing the ball away, he's scrambling. He fights for the extra yard. He was credited with 32 rush attempts in 17 regular season games. He already has 15 rush attempts this postseason. He has rushes of 14 and 10 yards already this season. And in the postseason, the Bengals have given up 20 yards rushing to Derek Carr. Tannehill had 12 yards rushing. Patrick Mahomes had 19 yards rushing. So you're seeing Matthew Stafford tuck the ball and run, and why not? What do you have to lose? It's a Super Bowl. There's no throwing the ball away. There's no living for the next game. This is it. So you're seeing some of these rushing props from these quarterbacks go over because they're willing to take the risk. And I think this number is way too low. I think he gets over this in one rush, to be honest.
So I want to ask you 2 follow-ups on this, and I'm going to start with the one that popped, which is, are you worried at all about taking the quarterback on the team that's favored over the rushing total? Because in theory, at the end of the game, Matt Stafford's going to lose yards on a kneel down, or perhaps multiple kneel downs, which can be a nightmare for anyone who watched their quarterback run over the total and then have those yards get sucked back right at the end of the game. Does that worry you here, being that LA is the favorite?
A fantastic follow-up question, like always. It was so good that I figured you would bring this up, and I have an answer for you.
Nice.
He has gone over this total in all 3 playoff games, and they've won all 3 playoff games. So, no, I'm not worried about this.
Here's my other question.
There you go, Ted.
All right. Here's my second question. All right. All 3 teams that the Rams have played in the postseason, Arizona, Tampa, San Fran, all of them dominant defensive fronts, putting pressure on the QB. Cincy last week made a different defensive decision in the second half, and it worked. They rushed 3, they dropped 8, which isn't good for quarterback scrambling. It isn't good for finding receivers downfield. Does that worry you that we're going to see a lot of that from Cincy here, which is likely to keep Stafford in the pocket as opposed to giving him open lanes to scramble like you would have if they were playing man-to-man on the outside?
Overall, yeah, it could be a worry. I would be more worried. Like last week, Patrick Mahomes, his rushing total was 28.5. That proved to just kill that over. This total is so low at 5.5 that I only need 1 rush to really get over there. And I don't think Cincy's going to play that way every single play. I think it would be smart for them to do something like that. But I also think Sean McVay is going to have 2 weeks to look at this rushing 3, dropping 8, and figure out how to dissect this. I think Stafford can easily get to the outside or up the middle, especially if they're rushing 3 and they get to him and Kupp, Odell, and others take some of these guys deep. Stafford's going to scramble, especially if you got like a 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. And like we said, he's going to fight for the extra yards. It's the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Oh, awesome stuff, Andy. Andy, one of our listeners points out that they think you had a rough night last night. Is that true?
Well, it's been a rough morning. I live in Indianapolis. We had a gigantic ice storm and then a snowstorm. My power has gone out this morning. I've been outside shoveling. So it was not a rough night. It's been a rough morning. There's been a lot going on. We recorded Prop It Up, which airs right after this. So no, it's not been a rough night. It's just been a rough morning. But hey, rough morning, still here.
Yeah, the key is
Teddy?
Someone cared enough to notice. That's always nice.
Yes, there you go. Andy Lang, the snuggliest man in sports betting. Andy, Tyler Boyd. Last week I gave out 6 prop bets with you. By the way, we went 4-2 on those, but we lost the Tyler Boyd over. Where do we go in this game?
I had high hopes for him last week, but it's not working for Tyler Boyd in the postseason. They're not going to him. His production has just fallen off. He hasn't gone over 30 yards in the postseason. He's only averaging 6.2 yards a catch. He has 4, 2, and 4 catches. He's not involved in the offense like he was in the regular season. And last week, we had a nice setup for him to go over since he's down. So, they're going to be throwing, and then he has 4 catches for 19 yards. It's just not happening for him in the postseason. They're going to other guys. Tyler Boyd seems to be the odd man out. 39.5 yards receiving seems really, really high. The numbers back this up. I think this number also drops to maybe 35.5. So if you want to get in on it, I'd get in on it now. But Tyler Boyd's a fade in the Super Bowl for me.
So not a lot of injuries to talk about for the Super Bowl, but one that does stand out, and we still don't know if he's going to play or not, is C.J. Uzomah, the tight end for Cincinnati. If Uzomah doesn't play, are you worried that Boyd becomes a bigger part of the offense?
It could always happen, or they could just say, you know what, Ozuna was out, so we're going to give Jamar Chase more looks. We're going to give T. Higgins more looks. I don't know if it gives an increase to Boyd. Maybe they put Samaje Perine in to take that out. I don't think Uzomah is going to affect Boyd's production that much. He's not a huge part of the offense. So no, that one wouldn't really worry me too much. What most impresses me about this is just how high the books had this, the 39.5. Playing the number here just seems way too high. So no, the injury to the tight end for Cincy does not bother me.
Yeah, and also on that note, Teddy, Boyd got 4 catches last game. I think 3 of them was actually while that tight end was still on the field. Everything went to hell when he got injured. So I don't know if that's relevant, but a fair question nevertheless. One of our listeners writes, Cincinnati has to win for the season to be a success. What?
For who?
They're in the Super Bowl. Their over-under win-loss record, Teddy, correct me if I'm wrong, 6.5 on the year. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would deem their season an unbelievable success already. Andy Lang, NBA prop for tonight, and then we got to call it a show.
Yeah, NBA props have just been fantastic. Since November 18th, we're up 83 units just in player props. So let's do one of these. And we have a 5% NBA play that is up already on WagerTalk.com. Also have a 5% Super Bowl prop that is up. And if you get the 5% Super Bowl play that is up right now, you're going to get all of our Super Bowl plays. That's not just one play. You're going to get the entire pack. So I want to make that very clear. But yeah, 5% play that is up in NBA. This is a player prop that will be attached to that as well. Tyrese Maxey, he's just winning over the hearts of everyone from Philly. I know Matt Josephs loves him. I'm going to take over 26.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He had 44 points, rebounds, and assists against Memphis in that crazy game without Embiid. And the next game, that was an obvious letdown spot. Embiid comes back. They have the big win. He comes back with a strong game, 22 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists. That's a total of 37 points, rebounds, and assists. He's gone over this total in 5 out of 7 games. This is one that's going to make my card. They get a Dallas team that has started to give up a few more points. They were a big under team, Dallas was, but now they've been giving up points. Give me Maxey over his PRA tonight.
Andy Lang, awesome stuff. Andy, real quick, I'm curious. I consider you a hardcore cool dude, flat out. What is your favorite band?
My favorite band? I go back to when I was a kid and my dad, I have really fond memories of me and my dad listening to Led Zeppelin. And so that was the first band that just popped. I remember driving around and like my dad taking me to soccer practice and we were listening to Led Zeppelin. That's just my fondest memories that I have.
Okay, Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
That's a good answer. Go to California is my favorite song from them. It's a masterpiece. What an outstanding show. Teddy, I leave you with Steve Merrill for the next 5 days. Guys, I hope you all have a wonderful Super Bowl. Please keep in mind, it is one game. There are a lot of other games that very day. There is no reason to bet any more money on the Super Bowl than any other game. What the Super Bowl signifies to me, Teddy? Peace and quiet. The NFL season is about to be over, and although I had an unbelievable season from start to finish, I'm ready for it to end. Teddy, I'm going skiing. I'll be in Montana at Big Sky. If anyone is in the Big Sky area, DM me on Twitter. I'll love to go skiing with you. Other than that, Teddy, enjoy Steve Merrill. Enjoy the Super Bowl, everybody. My friend, take us home.
Yeah, we'll be back with plenty of shows before the Super Bowl. In fact, 5 of them all next week, because Wager Talk Today goes every weekday, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon for you back east. Want to thank our guests. I want to thank our viewers. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the games, and good luck.
Lock in all sports, all plays, all 5% best bets from now until Super Bowl 57 on February 12, 2023 from your favorite WagerTalk handicapper for only $1,199 versus a regular price of $1,999 for one total savings of $800. This limited time super discount comes out to less than $100 per month and only $3.28 per day. As an added bonus, your all access starts immediately, so the sooner you buy before Super Bowl 56, the more additional days you will get for free. Just go to WagerTalk.com, choose your favorite handicapper to lock in, and don't forget there is no limit to the amount of handicappers you can redeem our Super Bowl to Super Bowl offer on.